backstory, if you're new here, if you're not new here, if you don't know a backstory, I'm Silver. This is the USS Overlander. This is a 2022 Thor Freedom Elite 22 HE, which means that we're 24-foot bumper to bumper. And we bought this RV in March of 2023, which means that we've had it less than 2 years. But in that time, we've taken several trips to Texas, from Tennessee to Texas, back to Tennessee. We've traveled from Tennessee to Washington State and back once. We've also gone on lots of smaller trips, North Carolina, Kentucky, Central Tennessee, weekend trips. When we bought this RV, Derek and I were both full-time software engineers. I was working for a huge corporate consulting company. He had spent over 5 years at a startup and was basically a senior software engineer at that time. So 2 years ago, we're both fully employed, everything's great, we buy our RV. March of 2024 rolls around. I've been with my company 2 years. I've been remote the whole time. There hasn't been any issues. They decide that we're going back to office and there was no flexibility. So because I was working hard so that I could travel, I decided to step away from my corporate role, which was a fine decision at the time because, again, Derek was a senior software engineer at a startup he'd been at over 5 years. Everything was really solid. It wasn't a terrible idea. We could spend about a year living comfortably off of his salary and dipping a little bit into our savings, but not touching our emergency fund. So things were great. We went on lots of adventures. I had more time to do stuff like YouTube. Things were good. Then in early October, which if you'll look back at my posting schedule is about when I fell off the map, suddenly Derek was laid off with no warning and less than 2 weeks severance. And things have been rough since then. It's been right at 2 months. I've applied to over 100 jobs. He's applied to just as many. And nothing looks really promising yet. So essentially our RV is grounded until we have household income. Which, you know, things could be a lot worse. Instead of not getting to go on adventures, we could, like, you know, be homeless. And so I want to make sure to check my privilege here that, you know, oh, things might get so bad that we might have to decide if we're selling our house or our RV. Like, that is a very privileged position to have. I know a lot of people my age are living paycheck to paycheck, and yes, we've made some good decisions, but also we've had a lot of privilege along the way. So I want to acknowledge that, and I also want to say that it was really difficult for me to want to have this discussion on a YouTube, but it's also really important for me to authentically share the challenges of RV life. And one of the challenges is everything can be going great 1 minute and then suddenly, through no fault of your own, no income.